Here's my takeaway on AB. Every time AB goes sideways, the media rushes out and goes, hey, be empathetic, mental health issues. And I would say it could be, although none of us are qualified to say that. But I've heard that now 4 different times. He was kicked out of Florida International. He was a problem in Pittsburgh and in Oakland and in New England and in Tampa. And he keeps being enabled by Bruce Arians, by Tom Brady, by Bill Belichick, by Central Michigan. So I'm not a mental health expert. We should always err on the side of compassion. But every time there's a mistake, we rush to, hey, don't be too harsh. But then somebody gives him another job. So it can't be both. Like, where do you fall on the AB situation?
It is absolutely possible, and maybe even likely, that part of Antonio Brown's issues stem from some either diagnosed or undiagnosed mental health issue. By the way, I think that's probably true for almost all of us to varying degrees. Almost all of us, whenever we make bad decisions that are obviously bad decisions, it stems from something either in our past or in our brain chemistry or whatever it is. But we are still expected to be adults while we're at work. We're still expected to treat people with respect, to not stiff people out of thousands of dollars, to not commit federal crimes and via fake vaccination cards, all of these things. And I think one would have more empathy if, when he had the opportunity, when he's called on it or when he has to come to account for any of these things, if he showed any accountability. If he said, listen, I screwed up huge. I'm incredibly sorry. I'm struggling with a lot of things here. I can't promise you I won't. Like, people, I know mental health is different than substance abuse, but Josh Gordon kept stepping on the same rake, metaphorically speaking. And people did not crush him for it because Josh Gordon was, after in the beginning, kind of being standoffish about what his issues were and weren't. He was vulnerable and said, hey, listen, this is something I'm dealing with. I'm struggling with. I'm doing my best. Antonio Brown's done none of that. And of all, I know compassion is not a limited resource, but I feel like I only have, access to so much of it at any given moment. I'm not going to waste a ton of it on Antonio Brown. He's gotten more chances than 99% of people ever would. He does his best to squander them. It seems like he treats people terribly, maybe criminally. He doesn't seem like a good guy at all. It is baffling to me the affinity Tom Brady seems to have for him. To me, it's one of the biggest indictments on Brady. There aren't many, but it's such an odd guy to want to put your arm around as publicly as he has. And no, Antonio Brown, Colin, I think he ended his NFL career today. I think his NFL career is over.
Yeah, I think it is too. And I think your point is well taken, is that, you can go back to expelled in college. I think he robbed a delivery truck driver, the fake vaccination ID. This is somebody that treats people poorly. There was the guy that he stiffed, which isn't criminal, but is
and
a
has
horrible
seemingly
thing to do.
Credible sexual assault allegations against him.
Yes. So I'm to the point where, people jump to the mental health issue. Well, then stop giving him chances. If it's mental health, stand by that and get him help. I just think he's been enabled over and over and over. And we all understand people with great talent get second and third chances. We're on 5.
We're way past, just in the last, forget everything since college. Since the Steelers moved on from it. Let's say he was on strike 0, up until the Steelers moved on from it. There was with the Raiders, he's checking his bank balance during position group meetings. And, remember he had the smuggled the old helmet and painted the helmet. He did all that, sent out those tweets, then goes to the Patriots, blows it there, sends out those awful tweets, then has really bad allegations against him on his way out of New England. And right before he signed with Tampa, he alleged that there was the thing you're talking about, the delivery truck. There was the breaking the surveillance camera outside the security guard stand, allegedly, then the vaccination card. And now, Colin, I can't remember the last time an NFL guy of any stature, good or bad, mediocre, did this. I can't remember a guy disrobing and walking across the field mid-game. I've been watching the game. I've been watching NFL football for 25 years. I remember Vontae Davis retiring at halftime
Yes.
I remember that. That wasn't as bad as this. This is, you probably didn't see it. He's on whoever his driver was who picked him up from the game. He's on that guy's either TikTok or IG after the game laughing about it. Like, no, I mean, he is talented. He is not, to me, talented enough to overcome this. Which, by the way, and I don't know if you were trying to segue here. However, it does remind me why I always thought it was so unfair when people compared Antonio Brown to Odell Beckham Jr., who's having quite the renaissance, my friend, now that he's out of the yoke of Cleveland.
By the way, he made 2 spectacularly huge catches. One, I think it was 4th down, one for the touchdown. Yeah, like it was situationally, you can argue he made the 2 biggest catches of the game. And here's the thing. They don't need him for volume. I mean, Cooper Kupp's a machine. And is there ever been a player that not only has 150 catches, but is seemingly wide open on almost everyone?
Wide open. And I know they have Beckham, so you have to pay attention to Beckham. But it's not like they have 6 weapons out there. Robert Woods still out there. They have an amazing tight end. Like, you would think that teams would say, we're going to double Kupp and deal with the rest of it. But Kupp is great.
Great hands, great routes, and he's one of those guys that gets to his top speed really fast. He's at his top speed. You know, people forget, Jerry Rice was the same. Jerry Rice ran a 4.55, 4.6. He got to his top speed in a step. And a lot of guys, it takes time. Cooper just is off and running. But it's interesting. Because Cooper is such a high volume receiver, they just need OBJ situationally. Yep. And it's perfect. He had like 4 targets, 3 catches, and that's fine. Because Van Jefferson gives you 6 targets and 4 catches. And Cooper gives you 13 targets and 11 catches. And they have good, capable tight ends. So it's one of those things where, A, Stafford's much better than Baker. B, he's not a talking point. Just come in and make it work. But C, at this point in his career, he's not going to be your one. But he can be a fantastic, elite, situational wide receiver.
And it is such, and I know that, listen, the Browns play Monday night, and I know you don't even talk about Baker anymore, but it is really bad for him that Odell is now scoring touchdowns every week when he scored 1 touchdown like every 3 months while he was in Cleveland, that he's making these types of plays. And yeah, I mean, I do think Odell can be a number 1. I don't think he's still a top 5 receiver in the league, but I think he absolutely can still be a number 1. But man,